After being snubbed by the royal family, a malevolent fairy places a curse on a princess which only a prince can break, along with the help of 3 god fairies.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Louise,
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 30. We did it.
Oh, dang, we 30.
3 decades old.
3 episodes old.
No,
30
episodes old.
30.
We're really
So
only
it is
6 months old, but thank you, everyone, for
30
trying
of
really
these.
hard.
Yes, thank you guys so
A
much.
little over half a year.
This week we are talking about 1959's animated Disney film, Sleeping Beauty.
Yep.
I always want to call it Snow White.
They're
all Snow White to
That's
me.
a different one.
He literally was calling her Snow White the entire movie, like, oh, and then Snow White. And I'm like, she has multiple names in this movie, but
Right.
none of them are Snow White.
Probably because they both fall asleep. That's why.
They're all Snow White to me.
Tell me why I'm over here looking up Sleeping Beauty facts, and as I'm scrolling, I keep getting mummified people because apparently mummies sometimes are called Sleeping Beauties, like if they're mummified really well. So I found the Chinese Sleeping Beauty analyzing the best preserved mummy ever discovered. So if you guys want to see a mummified Chinese gentleman,
You guys want to see a dead body?
No. Kind of sounds like a Boys in the Hood movie right there. Hey, you want to see a dead
You wanna see
body?
a dead body?
all right. Well, okay, moving on. Disney.
All right. First impressions, Andre.
I like this movie, but
Your face. Stop it.
it's got like it's got a lot of plot holes. There's a lot of I had a lot of problems with the plot.
Okay.
That's my first impression. But good music.
Yes. My first impression is I kept telling my fellow Walt Vaultians, if we watch this movie, I'm going to die. Like, I just don't really want to watch it. I was like, oh, Sleeping Beauty, great. That was my first impression.
FYI, she feels like that about a lot of them.
She
so
would
we
not
can hear
stop
this again.
complaining while we were watching the movie. Oh my
complain the whole
god, we're
time?
watching Sleeping Beauty.
Okay. After I watched the movie, it is a good movie. But like Andre said, I have a lot of qualms and plot hole things that I was like, come on. But it's a good movie.
Okay.
Emily.
Out of the older princess movies, this was probably one of my favorites. I don't think I've ever sat through and watched the entire movie. I've seen bits and pieces many times, but never all in one succession. So I'll be honest, all old Disney movies have plot problems.
Well, yeah, that's
Like,
that's
so-
what I
yeah,
figured.
the old
so
ones
the way
are-
that I kind of looked at it was like, they all are kind of like this. And out of all of them, I liked this one the best. So I was kind of like, whatever. Birds and the bees. It's cool. You want to get married? Boom. Bada bing, bada boom.
That's not even
like
my
you,
qualms.
Sleeping Beauty girl.
You'll hear about my qualms.
So that's my. I know that was my. So I actually really enjoyed this movie.
Oh, okay.
No, it is a good
my
movie.
first impression is better than I expected. Boom.
Luis.
Lou.
It's no secret that we disagree on a lot of things, Michelle. And on this
Wow.
episode, I'm going to disagree with you the entire way. Okay?
That's your first impression?
I only see one qualm.
His first impression is
I'm
that he's
getting-
going to disagree with
I'm
Michelle.
getting to that. Okay?
Only one qualm?
Only
I
one.
got multiple.
Well, it's one qualm that kind of is a trickle effect.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh,
I'll get
well.
to that
Oh,
when I
no.
get to it. But
Trickle qualm.
in my opinion, like Em said, all early Disney movies have those plot
Yeah, they do.
This is
holes
true.
or whatever. So I'm looking at it in terms of they're all good in that respect.
Yeah.
This is by far my favorite one.
Okay.
Very
It
good.
really was. It moved
Oh.
along quickly, and I just didn't see the plot holes. Maybe you guys can point them out, and maybe I could
I will.
think about them a little bit more.
Don't even
But
trip about
out
it.
of all of them, this is the best one
But we haven't seen the others yet, so how do you know?
because I know.
made him watch
trust
them.
me.
You made him
Y'all
watch
have watched
Snow
them.
White and
Trust
Cinderella?
me. It only took me 2 seconds to look at Olaf's nose to hate him. Trust me.
Okay.
Oh my God, that has nothing to do with
Nothing
it.
to do with it.
I know what I like when I like it.
Anyways,
I know what I like when I like
Okay,
it.
can we not do the arguing, yelling thing?
I would
Thanks,
say
guys.
the first
All right.
thing that happened is usually Andre will download the movie And the first thing we look at is how long is the movie? Just because we have to plan, like, are we going to be able to watch it all in one sitting? Do we have to break it up? And usually these early Disney
never have to
movies.
break it up. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, that's because you fall asleep. We should break it up.
Maybe you're right.
See, that dog outside agrees with me. Anyways, the point is, I was sitting there, and Andre downloaded it, and he said, it's 2 hours and 14 minutes. And I went,
that's not what I said, because that's not true. It's an hour and 15 minutes.
It's an hour and 15 minutes.
You
What are
literally
saying?
said
I did not say
2
that.
hours and 14 minutes, and I went, ugh.
It's definitely an hour and 15 minutes.
You're probably thinking about when we watched Deadpool the other night.
Well, maybe.
Are you confusing things? You can't give a Deadpool reasoning for freaking Sleeping Beauty.
Anyways.
Aurora.
Well,
Brian
never mind.
Rose.
It wasn't that long then. But
It
let's-
really was actually pretty short.
Yeah, it was very
let's
short.
talk about...
One qualm down.
that qualm got eliminated. Okay.
One less qualm.
One less qualm. One less lonely qualm. I'm not Justin Bieber. Anyways.
Is that a song?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's gonna be one less lonely girl.
Oh.
Go something like that.
Okay.
It was like
All right.
baby.
The
baby
kids
Justin.
know. They know.
Okay.
They know
Okay.
about the beeps.
So,
The
characters. Well, let's start with the main character of this movie, Miss Aurora.
She's
Miss
not the main
Briar
character in this
Rose.
movie. She is the
well,
backseat
she's
character.
the princess.
Okay, we have a first fun fact. She is in this movie for about 18 minutes.
Boom. I dig it.
That's about it.
Boom.
She has about 20 lines in the entire movie, and but 2 songs.
Yes.
Shout out to
2
Aurora.
songs, which I will say that she sings very beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
First of all,
That's actually one of the cool things that I really liked about this movie was the way they approached the storyline. So Luis kept saying that. He's like, yeah, no, this girl ain't the main character.
Right.
She ain't the main character. And it's kind of cool because usually the princess is just princess all day long, and all the other characters are silly around her. But this was, I thought, way more fairy driven.
Yes.
oh, for
right?
sure. Yeah.
And so for her, it was kind of like, oh, we get to see, oh, hey, princess over there, right?
mm-hmm.
I liked it.
I need a favor from you, Michelle. Right before you go into a qualm, say, Luis, this is a qualm.
Okay.
Just so I could understand it.
Okay.
Okay. You
Luis,
know me, I
ready.
like things organized
Luis,
and stuff. So.
Luis, this is a qualm.
Okay.
The fairies are stupid.
Okay. Let me just say right now,
Oh my
that's
God.
my only qualm. I agree with you with
Aha.
that one. That's my only
Okay.
qualm.
Hold on, back it up. No,
are
Luis, you
stupid.
conditionally agree with that because do you think they're stupid the whole time?
Yikes.
It's kind of like Barry Allen with the
God,
whole
he is
timeline.
stupid all the
Oh,
time.
God,
From The
yeah.
Flash.
So
Let's not bring him up.
All
That
right.
just makes me
It's all kinda
angry.
connected.
I'm gonna go in order of the reasons the fairy are stupid. I think I wrote a lot of them down.
Oh my
You
God.
didn't
So-
write anything down. I wrote everything you're about
Yes,
to read.
but I can go through your notes and point out all the reasons why the fairies are
She's trying
stupid.
to
Hey,
copy-
She's trying
copyright.
to take my
Hey.
Number
intellectual
one.
property.
Hey, hold on. She did say them. You just happened to write it down.
No, I
for
was
her.
writing these independent of the things she was saying.
Okay, well, listen. Number one,
Everyone's
They-
real freaking
they
feisty.
get
Drink
to-
your coffee, people.
the 3 fairies get to gift the baby Aurora some gifts. You're telling me what you gave her is to be pretty and to sing really well? What kind of gift is that?
That's
Shut
pretty good.
up. If
Those
you
are
got
pretty
that gift,
great
you'd
gifts.
be so happy.
Hey.
Yeah, but
Shut
how is
up.
that going to help her?
Look at
She's a princess. What else does
What
she
el-
need to do?
What, she need to be smart? She ain't doing nothing. She chilling.
Look, you got to look at the time this was created. It's the 1950s.
It's the 14th century.
Created in the 1950s for the 14th century. Home economic books in the 1950s had passages where women had to look pretty before their men got home and take care of them.
Legitimately.
Lit-
That
That's
was
I'm
like
aware,
in
but
school.
I'm a
That's cool.
feminist and I didn't like it.
I get it, but let's take ourselves out of this and just look at when it was created. So that's kind of like
Well,
why
and
they
thing
gave her
too
those
is they
gifts.
didn't think that she was going to have anything to battle up against.
Right.
They didn't
I
think
know.
Maleficent was coming. So for her, she was just going to be cute.
But
She's
then,
going to have a great singing voice.
qualm number 3.
And I agree with you on that one too. They
Next
should
qualm.
have given her more things.
Better
Next-
I'm going to need
Next
some
qualm.
practical gifts. Thank
Luis,
you.
this is a qualm. Okay, so Maleficent comes and curses the baby, and then
Like
the
a true beast.
yeah. So then only Merryweather is left, and they're like, "Come on, Merryweather, give her a nice gift." And she says, "Yeah, you're gonna fall asleep, but instead of dying, you're gonna be awakened by true love's kiss." First of all, you guys took her into a forest and didn't let her meet anybody. So if she did get cursed and fell asleep, how was anybody going to wake her up with true love's kiss
Yeah, but
when
that
you didn't let
happened
her see
first.
nobody?
But that happened first.
Okay, that's
Oh,
no,
okay,
no.
yeah.
Hold on,
You're
hold
going
on.
out
No,
of- you're going out of
because
order.
wasn't she promised already to
Yes.
Philip?
Yeah.
She's betrothed.
Yeah, but she wasn't in love with her. She didn't even know him.
I mean, I agree with you in the sense that how are you going to predestine who they're going to love? But still, I could see how that would not be.
They kept her in a cabin and said, "You can't meet anybody. Don't talk to no strangers." So if your plan A was keep her away from Maleficent, plan B should have been we should be making sure some dudes fall in love with
Okay.
her. So if she does get cursed, at least one of them can kiss her and
Set her
wake
up
her
on
up.
16 years worth of dates.
Set her up for success.
Guys,
Dang.
humor me though. I agree. But what if the plan all along was to keep her away from all these peeps, so she wouldn't fall in love by her own terms, and then the first man she sees, she falls in love with, which happens to be Philip.
Okay.
Because that wasn't a plan, though.
Wait.
Back
My
it up.
my entire qualm with this gift, this third gift that Merryweather gives her, is that it's true love's kiss in the first place. She could have made it anything. She could have been like, "You're gonna fall into a deep sleep, and then you'll wake up when we bring you a peanut butter jelly sandwich." Like, it didn't have to be true love's kiss.
Or bath salts.
Something so incredibly
Smell this.
hard to attain. It could have been anything.
True.
Yeah, but then think about it story-wise. Philip would have been completely irrelevant.
I get
He
it's
would have
for
been
the story.
irrelevant.
I understand
Like most princes.
that it's for
Exactly, but
the
he had
story.
to be important
I know.
to the story, so they had to bring in True
But
Love's
just
Kiss.
let me hate on the fairies. I'm gonna hate on them one more time.
Oh, I'm agree with you with a lot of things when it comes to the fairies. Okay.
Okay, my
So go
last
for it.
thing about the fairies.
What?
They're in the house. This is my last qualm. This is my fourth
Qualm
qualm.
number four.
Luis is literally counting them over
my
here on
fourth
his
qualm
fingers.
about the fairies is they are in their house or whatever cottage in the middle of the forest, and it's Aurora's 16th birthday, and they want to get her out of the house so that they can make her stuff. You just send her off on her way on the day that she could possibly be cursed. You just didn't want to keep your eyes on her, make sure she was in your eyesight. You know, just send her away the day that people are out looking for her. And then you took her to the castle, or you're planning on taking her to the castle before sundown. She could have been spotted that entire walk all the way over to the castle. You know what I mean? They just weren't thinking. They weren't using their brains, especially taking their wands out and doing little magic things everywhere, and then the birdie spotted them.
I am so confused
Slow
about
down,
who you are right now. Who are you? Are
You're
you
just mad that I hate the fairies.
No, I just want to know who you are. Are you a Disney lover, or are you like over here like movie critic?
Wait a
Because
minute.
You like the stupidest character on the planet. Ariel is so dumb.
Nah, she's great.
Nah, she
Oh,
dumb.
Michelle.
Well, this is not about Ariel. This
No,
is about the
but
fairies.
I guess my thing is that like you gotta love them because of who they are. Like if they weren't like totally ridiculous, they wouldn't be fun fairies. They're Disney fun fairies, Michelle.
Oh, I love the fairies. They're very fun, but they are stupid.
yeah,
that's
hate
it.
no.
First off, to go with your qualm, they don't know who they're looking for when it comes to Aurora. Those stupid little critters. were looking for a baby.
Ooh, those critters.
Maleficent's minions, they've been looking for a baby for 16
And
years.
here's
God,
the
they're
deal.
idiots.
Idiots. I literally, that was the moment I was like, oh, God, poor Maleficent.
She's perfectly safe out and about because, one, no, they don't know what they're looking for, and two, they haven't used magic. Once they use magic, they're idiots. They're going to find her, and then the
Yeah,
bird sees
I
it.
agree with that. Like, I don't really mind them letting her out and about because there was no reason to suspect her.
Right.
I just
She
think
was just
it was
a girl.
because it was the day of her 16th birthday, especially if I knew, like,
Yeah, she
this
should have
was
just been
the
in her
day.
room all
Right,
day long.
Yeah. I would have been like, sorry, girl, you grounded.
Happy
Like,
birthday,
I don't
we got
know.
you this book.
Okay, I agree with you partly,
Chill.
but I'm going to look at it in a different angle. Again, they'll never know who she was, so they don't know who they're looking for. So let her out on her first date. On the last date, excuse me.
Sure.
However, don't go and use magic
Yeah, that was
on the
stupid.
last day after
And then talk
16
about her.
years.
Okay,
Ugh.
the thing that got them
Don't be
caught
dumb.
was
What's the
not
magic?
just using magic. It was them having a magic
A
fight.
fight. It was the fight.
They were
Yeah.
having a pink versus blue battle. The
Make it pink.
the
Make it
original
blue.
Crips and Bloods
Oh, my God.
fighting in the cottage.
For real.
And then it exposed them.
Yeah, because then if they had just made the dress and just made the cake, they would have been chill. Like,
Right.
there was no problem except for the color explosion
Yes.
happening out of the top of that cottage.
Yeah.
That was the problem that I had.
I
I
understand.
won't lie though, that was one of my favorite scenes in the whole
It
movie.
was.
It
It
was
was great.
hilarious.
Well, the fairies in general. Okay, now I'll be nice to them. They are hilarious. Like they are very good characters. I thoroughly enjoy them. Just every time they did something stupid, I was like, "Come on, you're stupid."
I love it when Fauna is making the cake and she's like
Fold
the eggs
in the eggs. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And you know
Cracks
what's
'em.
hilarious about that is that Luis does not understand what folding in eggs means. Like when you're baking, which is
Yeah.
kind of an interesting concept, like the
Sure.
idea of not like mixing them or whatever.
just-
And he's like, "That ain't how you fold in eggs." It
That's
was
so
quite
funny.
hilarious. No,
That's
that was
hilarious.
cute.
But-
I like Fauna.
Yeah.
She was cute. The other two are very.
Fauna's very non-confrontational.
The other two, though, little Meriwether man, she's like gonna beat Maleficent up, calling her like a horned toad or something.
Oh yeah.
Hilarious.
Well, I think the two, like Flora and Fauna, are older than Meriwether, correct? I would think
Maybe.
their hair's more gray than hers, so I thought maybe that they almost got like taken under their wing type of
Maybe.
thing. That's kind of
Under
how I
their
pictured.
wings.
I never thought about that.
Under their
Under their
wings.
wings.
No,
Fairy
they're
wings.
cute. I enjoy them.
No, I do like them. Here, you be nice to them now that I was mean.
Oh no, they're very silly. They're
Yeah.
very. Oh yeah, no. I was like the whole time. Anytime they were doing something, it was a little silly. It was a little ridiculous. But I just took it. I think I was just very much on the mindset like, if I put my modern more sensibilities on these movies, then I'm going to tear every single movie apart. Do you know what I
Right,
mean?
yes.
So when I watched it, because I watched it last night with Luis, we were in like a kind of a jovial mood. We were like, "Ooh, it's Friday night."
Watching
so we,
Sleeping Beauty?
Yeah, we're watching some Sleeping Beauty. So we were sitting there, and it was just kind of more fun than it was. I didn't have my critical eye on, so I can very much tell the
mine
difference
was
today.
on, and I feel bad because with these early Disney movies like Sleeping Beauty and Snow White, they're not necessarily like, and even Cinderella, like they're not my favorite princess movies for multiple reasons. So as soon as you guys were like Sleeping Beauty, I was like, I'm ready to tear it apart.
Ooh.
So
As I
that
said,
that
she
was
was-
bad.
she
I
was
shouldn't have gone in with that
whining.
mindset, but you might be surprised by my rating when we talk about it later. Like I really do like the movie as much as I'm tearing it apart. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, we need to move on to probably the best character in the whole
Prince
thing.
Philip.
No.
No.
No. Move along.
Maleficent.
No.
Oh.
Who?
The cupbearer.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
The best
Okay,
character in. Okay.
That is one of the
Maleficent-
best scenes.
Maleficent is most definitely the best character,
Yes.
but this cupbearer, Luis and I literally, I even looked at him and was like, dude, he needs to keep drinking. This is so funny. So he comes in and he brings the king's cup, and I mean, most people know what a cupbearer is, especially in olden times. But the idea is that there was a legitimate job, and it was a very high esteemed job to be a cupbearer for the king, right? He got to drink all the alcohol or whatever, honestly, anything first to make sure that it wasn't like poisoned or whatever, right? But he comes in, and I'm like, ooh, he's having a little sip.
It's not poison.
Oh, he's having a little sip. He kept sipping until that mandolin was on his head.
But it was so funny.
It was so funny. I
That
thought I
whole
was going to
scene
die.
in general and that song that they're singing too.
Yes.
Oh, it was that was
King
like
Stefan
one of my.
and what's King Philip's
I thought
dad's
it
name?
was- It's not
It's Stefan.
George, is it?
No, Stefan is her dad.
Hang on.
Oh, Philip's dad's
Yeah.
name. Oh, I can't
King
remember.
Hubert.
Hubert.
Hubert
That
and
song
Stefan.
was. I loved that. Scene.
That was very good.
Gosh,
He
freaking
starts.
hilarious.
He starts like Hubert starts like fighting with him, and he grabs a fish off of the table.
Unhand me. Oh, too cute.
That was
I really
bunch
enjoyed
of drunk
that.
kings.
Ooh, it was good, and it was fun to kind of see kings be more kind of frivolous than
Right.
than stately. You know, in
Yeah.
other movies, you see them all just kind of cranky.
This is
and
all that they have to worry about. Their kingdoms must be completely fine because
Yeah.
they're just like, my daughter, your son. is
no
going
economic
down."
strife at all.
No,
like
nothing.
just well, we have Maleficent over there at Mount Doom, but
Right.
besides that, we good.
Not
Like,
worried about her at all.
even though they most definitely should be, because number one, she is the best character in this movie.
Oh yeah.
She's
a
Oh my gosh! Just like how you said it and then said "oops." Oops.
she's a BA.
You guys, she pops into that scene, and I was not expecting her to be like, and then she's gonna die. Like she cursed her to straight death. Like
And I laughed. I was like, get it, girl.
So okay,
I was not expecting that.
I love
That's a
Maleficent.
bad.
I love Maleficent. I have one qualm.
What?
What is her motivation? Why is
Yeah.
she so
Well,
upset? It's
yes.
just because she didn't get invited to this child's birthday party.
See, that's the thing about this specific movie is you don't get any of that backstory. Obviously, if you watch the live action,
let's pretend it's
Maleficent-
1959 and I haven't seen the 2010 film Maleficent.
Yes, then you don't know her motivation at
Because
all.
that movie, honestly, I don't think was the creators of this movie's backstory. I
No.
think that
Right.
was just a completely
It's
different
different.
Exactly.
backstory, which is cool.
But I like
not,
to think about it when I watch this movie now because you can't unsee a movie, obviously, and unsee what you've seen. But they don't give you any backstory on her at all, which tends to be a theme with villains. Let's just not give you any backstory.
I liked her. Ooh, she was good. She definitely made me feel like Sauron, though, from like Lord of the
Yes.
Rings. She was literally
She came
like
in hot. she's
she got her eyes on things.
she's got her eyes on everything.
She's willing to wait years and years and years for something to happen.
I've waited 16 years.
Well, Hades waited 18, so
That's true. But
Apparently, she hadn't gotten a good sleep in 16 years.
That's
awful.
what Luis was like. Well, why are you waiting 16 years? Then you should have made the curse for like a week. You can't just sitting here for 16
Right?
years
Oh,
of
yeah.
bad
You did
sleep.
this to
she
yourself.
totally did it to herself on your 16th birthday.
Like, I haven't gotten good sleep. Well, that's your own
Could have
fault,
said
girl.
next Wednesday.
I love Maleficent,
Goodness.
and I love when she turns into a dragon. I love everything about her, and I even love like on Mount Doom, she just has like her own throne. her
FYI,
own
it's not called Mount Doom.
staff.
But what is it
It's not?
called? No, I'm calling it Mount Doom.
What was
It's
it
a Mount
called?
something,
Hang on,
though.
I think did I write it down? I'm never gonna find this.
It's not Mount Doom,
I don't think so.
I don't think it's.
but
I
it
keep
is
calling it
called
that.
something. It's like Mount something.
Destructo.
Mount Destructo.
Oh man, it's
I
gonna
don't know
bug me
if I'm
now.
gonna be able to find
Well,
it.
we'll figure it out.
I just wanted to throw that out there before someone's like, it's not Mount Doom. You're welcome.
One of the
Send it
best
to the corrections corner.
There's two favorite things I have about Maleficent. The scene where she first pops into the fireplace when Aurora is like crying about her life because her life is so
Yes.
hard, and just the look she has on her face right there is like, ooh, like it's
Uber
great.
creepy.
Uber creepy. And then
Hold on, no. Before you move on, we need to talk about that because I'll totally forget.
Okay.
She pops into the fireplace and turns it into a gateway to other parts of the castle or
Secret
something
castle?
else, whatever. Did anyone else say Phantom of the Opera right there?
Oh no.
Or was
I
that just me?
I didn't think about that.
Because I literally was like, okay, Phantom, right? Because in the Phantom of the Opera, if you've never seen it, well, at least in the movie version, the way that they have it portrayed is she's in her dressing room. The Phantom comes through like a mirror, and she like walks into this whole like creepy dungeon world, and that's totally
very
what this
true.
reminded me
Yeah.
of. And I was like, ooh, we gonna get some Phantom up in here.
Oh,
She
but
should have been
Maleficent's
singing.
face right
I
there is
know.
like, ooh, it like gives
She
you the
didn't
heebie.
sing.
No,
Maleficent did not have a song at all, huh? I think
she
there
doesn't
was,
need one.
I
She's
think
that
she was
BA.
she was so like, ooh, I felt
She
like
was
she
too
was.
tired from the lack of sleep.
Yeah, you're right.
Could
She
be.
couldn't be singing.
You
those
can't
songs.
sing a good ballad when you have enough sleep.
My other favorite, my favorite scene of her is she's captured Prince Philip. He's in her dungeon and she's having her little party and she's like, let's go talk to our esteemed guest or whatever. You know, she goes in there and she's like, Prince, why are you
time for me to
so
monologue."
sad?
Ooh,
And she
she's a
tells
good
this big
monologuer.
story, and at the end, and she's like, and then I'll let you go when you're old and you'll go over there. And I was like, dang, girl, just the way she's telling the story, because it sounds like it's nice at first. Like, you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, you're gonna let him go. Oh,
And then
how
you're like,
nice.
oh, he's old. Oh, dang, that's cold, girl.
Luis was so confused because I think he like looked away or we were doing something with the baby or something, and he's like, so she's letting him go. I'm like, he's riding away. He's 100. This is gonna go True Love's Gifts 100
But
years
just
later.
the way,
120.
remind me who the voice of her is, because just the way that she tells that story is so like eerie that I was like, ooh,
Maleficent.
she is evil.
Maleficent is played by Eleanor Audley, who
Who
also
else?
played the evil stepmother in Cinderella.
Ah,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Well, because her voice
That
is
lady's creepy,
so
too.
It's great.
It's creepy, but it's so. If you think about like the timbre of her voice,
Mm-hmm.
it's very pretty. Like she has a very
Yeah.
beautiful voice, but then she uses it very like menacingly. You
I
know what I
love
mean?
it.
It's very. Oh, I very much enjoyed every time that she was doing a little evil monologue, or even just like the little smirky comments.
Her laughs.
And
But if you
honestly,
think-
oh, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say the interesting thing about her is that a lot of the other characters that we talk about have sassy kind of quips and they're kind of funny and here and this and that.
Yeah.
But she was good and evil without any of that. And it
That's
made
true.
I personally
Yeah.
thought she was one of the most evil out of all of the characters that we've seen so far, even though like Hades is evil, like you have to have some sort of a funny side if you're gonna have those quips. Like you can't just be like, oh no, I'm all evil like all the time.
Well, doesn't she say she's like the mistress of evil or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that? She basically
said
calls
something like
herself
she's
that.
like, what did she say about hell, Louise? Oh my god, we were laughing so hard. Like at the end, she comes up and she's like, I'm bringing on the something of, oh god, what is it?
Now shall you deal with me, O prince, and all the powers of hell.
Yeah. And Luis goes, I don't need no powers of hell up in here.
But and that's what I was gonna.
That's some evil biz.
And that's what I was gonna say too. Her powers are freaking cool.
Oh,
like
yeah.
she just has her staff and like from very very far away, like the prince is running away from the mountain. She's just like, boom, lightning, boom, briar patch, you gonna die, boom, here's another
She's
thing.
extremely
and then finally
powerful.
she's like, fine, I guess I'll do it myself. You know what I mean? She really doesn't have to do a ton of effort until the very, very end.
No.
Like, especially when you compare her to, like, the other fairies. They're over here making cakes and and making dresses or whatever. And
badly.
And she's creating an entire forest of thorns. And, like,
and very well.
And even after Aurora got cursed and Prince Philip got captured, they were like, I don't know if all three of us can go up to
Seriously, they were afraid.
the Forbidden Mountain and
Thank you.
take on Maleficent, even though it would be 3 against 1, and we all theoretically have the same amount of magic, but they obviously do not. She's using dark wizard stuff.
Oh yeah,
She's tapping into that power of hell.
She a dark wizard.
She's got dark force powers.
She's definitely hooking up with Dormammu.
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 I'm here tomorrow
Why
again.
does he say it like Dormammu?
Dormammu.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
So funny. Okay, so next.
So yes, I would say on an evil meter, we
An
need to put
evil
She's an
meter.
11.
she's I would say, as for all of the people that we've seen so far, she's one of the most evil characters that we've met so far
Yeah, I dig
in
it
the
too.
Disney repertoire. She's
I
pretty,
like
pretty
totally
rough.
dig it. Totally dig it. So music. Who are our lovely musicians for this movie?
Our musicians?
The
We're
gonna
lovely
get-
musicians.
El músico.
Hang on a second.
We're gonna
Let's
get into the
see.
whole
Jack Lawrence and Sammy Fain composed the score to this
Bang.
movie.
Bang.
Sammy Fain.
I love the songs in this movie.
one of my favorites, I would say. Not because, and this is a very interesting comment for me. This is groundbreaking.
What?
Not because it's nostalgic. Because, like I said, I don't think I've ever really listened to Sleeping Beauty music. I don't think I've really watched it enough to know all of the music. But it
Right.
was one of my favorites without having the nostalgia tie.
Yeah.
I
It
really
doesn't
enjoyed
really
it.
have nostalgia feel for me either because, like I said, I'm with you there. I really have not watched Sleeping Beauty all the way through until a couple days ago. But the thing that I love about the older Disney movies is the style of music.
Yeah.
So immediately it's very vibrato,
Yeah.
very high pitched, very old timey.
They got the
Like
choirs going.
Yeah, the choirs are going.
Get me
I
those
love
choirs.
that vibe of music, and that to me is like classic Disney music. So of course, as soon as Aurora started singing in the forest, I was like, yes.
Well,
Like she didn't even have words for like the first couple minutes of her song, and I was like, this
Oh, yeah.
is great.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because, and I eventually we'll end up watching Snow White. But Luis and I watched it maybe like a year ago or so, and his first comment was like, "Oh, I like it so much better than her," and I think it's because of her voice.
Yeah.
You know, which I understand. Like, obviously, each princess has to have her own voice and everything, but she also. Aurora was also supposed to be young, but her voice sounded older. And I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
probably why it sounded prettier, quote unquote, because a lot of times in the older animated movies, the actresses made their voices sound younger
Sound
on
young.
purpose.
Yeah.
To be the younger character, which I don't know if that was necessary because it made them sound nasally, you know, and you got the like, is it necessary? See, do we need Andre playing a teenage girl?
No, we don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessary,
I-
but I
yeah.
enjoyed how it was like a normal voiced character.
Yes.
When she sang.
Andre over there sounding like Smokey Robinson.
That was gorgeous, Louise. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Also, we didn't even talk about Prince Philip, but Prince Philip has a really good voice too.
He does.
Although I will say it's creepy. You shouldn't just come up behind women that you don't know and start dancing with
Right.
them.
He slid into the DMs.
And her, oh my God, he did. And her face, as soon as it happened, was like, WTF. Like, she was literally like,
she was swatting
what?
his hands away, and she was like hiding behind trees and stuff like that. She was like,
And then the owl just looked at her and was like, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Go for it.
No, you know what? It's funny though because
What, Lou?
And the owl was a perfect example of when somebody should have spoke up and said something about that.
Yeah,
Like, come on,
owl.
guys.
What were you doing, owl?
it was funny though because she didn't fight that hard because by the end of the
I
song,
know, not even like 5 minutes later, her head's on his shoulder.
Yeah, she's like,
Luis
oh,
was
well,
like,
this is
I've
nice.
never had a first date where she had her head on my shoulder that soon.
See, that part I can just look over because that's old Disney movies, right? They fall in love in one
Yeah.
song.
It
So
was
it's
cute
what-
though. I enjoyed that.
It was funny. And honestly, Prince Philip is becoming one of my favorite princes. Like, he's doing a lot.
Well, he had a lot of screen. Like,
Lot
obviously
of
he had a lot of
screen
screen
time.
time, but he had a lot of forward, like plot moving
Yes.
points.
And he was like,
He was important
He was
to the
even
story.
telling his dad, he was like, I don't care if she's a peasant. I'm going to go marry her. I was
Dad,
like,
it's the 14th
you
century.
get it. Yeah,
That
Dad, it's 14th century.
was
You're
so
living in the
funny.
past, Dad.
Oh my gosh,
He
that
has-
was even
yeah.
funny. Because, what did you say his name was? Hubert.
Yeah.
Hubert.
So then later, Hubert's trying to tell King Stefan, and he's like, "Well, you know, it's the 14th century," and he's like,
So funny. But,
No,
like,
but you're
that's
right.
why I like Prince Philip. Like, he has a sense of humor. He's forward thinking, and he will do whatever he can do to go get the girl. All the fairies had to do was give him a sword of courage and a shield or whatever, and he was like, I got this. Going through the briarwood, slaying dragons. I was like, get it, dude.
He is theoretically the most important prince because out of those early Disney movies, he's the only one with a name. the other princes,
Right.
They're all just
Charmings
Prince
or whatever.
Charming.
the Prince,
Yeah.
Prince Charming.
Charming.
Prince Philip has a name, right? I didn't even think about
Philip.
that.
You could probably call him Philip, and people would know who you were talking about.
Yeah, like Philip is right. He's right up there with Eric.
Even though
I'm digging
Luis
it.
kept calling him Eric, I'm like, Luis, you can't just call him
Oh,
Eric.
No, he's not Eric.
He's like,
They're
Eric's
different.
doing some good stuff. I'm like, Eric also did good things, but no, this is Philip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're kind of the two princes who are doing the most, but Philip did a lot more. Well,
No.
did he? It's pretty equal. They both defeated something.
Yeah,
one
they
one
both
slayed
really-
Ursula, one slayed a dragon. One was just on land, and one was
Slayed
in
Ursula.
water.
Forgot he slayed her. So
He
I was about to say,
harpooned
what?
her with that crazy
Yeah, he-
boat.
What
He
did he
harpooned
really
the
do?
dragon a lot. They both are doing the
Yeah,
most.
that's true. Well, and it's cool though because even this is kind of taking it a little bit back to a conversation that we had on a crack in the vault, but we were talking about just forward-thinking princes and forward-thinking princesses and whatnot. And we were having a conversation on the Patreon page between a couple of our
Patrons.
patrons. Thank you. I was going to call them Patreons. I guess that doesn't make sense. Some of our Patreons. And David Flores, one of our lovely patrons, was talking about how it's really nice to see characters who are really good role models for boys and girls. You
Yeah.
know, like strong women, but strong men. And I think that Prince Philip gets overlooked because he actually was a really
Yeah.
good
Right.
version of what
He's
like
legit.
a man can look up to or a
Sure.
boy can look
Yes.
up to.
And I think, and it also makes me sad that in the parks you really only see the princesses. Like, if I saw Prince Philip or Prince Eric walking around, I would be so excited.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let me go take a picture with him. Let me have like that character experience. I think that they should do that more too because they're very
Yeah.
strong prince characters.
Well, and kind of similarly too, is I like that, and I know that this is more of a, it's a more modern thing to do, but like if you think about like a Cars movie, okay?
Yeah.
So Lightning McQueen, like he has to go through this full character development to become like a good guy.
Right.
Like he's sassy, he's arrogant, he's got all of like the quote unquote negative male characteristics going on before he can like come through and
Just to,
become
learn his lesson.
right,
and
like
whatever.
to be the good guy. No, Prince Philip was like always a cool dude.
Yeah.
Like
He's-
he grew
yeah.
up.
The only time he's not cool in this movie is when he's first getting introduced to Aurora when he's like a kid and he's looking down at the baby. He's like, ugh.
well, that
Hilarious.
Nah,
I don't want to marry this
I would say
baby.
the only time is when he didn't give his horsey the carrots. He was like, no carrots.
Samson.
Speaking of which, man, talk about like the horse definitely not wanting to go in the direction
Yeah.
that she was singing. He was like, you know what, Prince Philip, it's nays before bays. So let's go this way.
Nays before bays.
Nays.
That's probably the best thing you have ever said, Louise. Most that definitely is the best thing you've ever said. I don't even know how I feel about that.
And that's a Disney thing too. Like all the horses neighs before bays.
Oh my God, we need to post a collage of all the
We need to
horses.
make this into a T-shirt.
The only one that didn't do that, I think, was Maximus, because he was more like about, laws before flaws in relationships.
Right.
You know what? We're going to get a shirt. It's going to have Samson. It's going to have Pegasus. It's going to have Maximus. And whatever other horse is going to say, #nays before bays.
I dig it.
I would wear it.
I would totally
Who
wear
would,
that.
listeners? We're going to make
Let us
it.
know if you'd buy that shirt from us.
That is so funny.
That's
oh my
too
God,
funny.
I can't.
Amazing.
I can't.
Louis, what is your? Do you have a good da today? I
I
mean, I should ask. Do you have a good one? I know you have a good one.
I always have a good one.
Bottle.
Okay.
Andre, do the song.
Dun 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 battle.
All right.
I love that there is a
Thank
song
you.
now.
Yes.
So, as always, Michelle, I got to fight with you. So, you
Okay.
ready?
I'm ready.
Who handled their heartbreak better,
Ooh.
Oh no.
Aurora or Ariel?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Ready, go.
Who handled their heartbreak better? Okay. Oh God.
You know why this is funny is because I have one thing to say, and literally, I don't even have an answer to this question.
But Daddy, I love him.
No.
Oh.
Is that we're watching the movie, right? And we find out she's in love, and the fairies are like, "Oh no, she's in love. That's horrible,
Right,
right?"
yeah.
Because
It's
they
so
want-
sad. They're literally like, you can never see him again.
No, that's not
No,
even
honey.
like, how dare you?
You're
She
betrothed.
she runs up the stairs and throws herself on the bed, and Louis like, well, every other princess threw on themselves just the exact same way. And I thought to myself, like, that's just
It's
the
a thing.
princess
You
way.
have to. You know what? When there's a big fluffy bed there and you're sad, it's nice to throw yourself on it. I must say.
But
I must say.
most other princesses don't get the chance to like take a long walk where they have a cloak over their head and they're just wallowing behind their three moms, just like, oh God.
Aw.
She got to wallow for
Okay,
like a
but
good
okay.
10 minutes.
So let's talk about Aurora. First of all, she finds out that she's a princess in the worst way possible. It's her birthday.
That was a bad transition
She's turning
for her.
16. She's like, I invited this guy over for dinner. He's amazing. She's falling in love with him. And they don't even very subtly sit her down or anything. They're like, no, you can't see him again. You're betrothed to a prince. And she's like, what? And they're like, yeah, you're royalty. Like, can you imagine if you found out right then, just in that way? They didn't sit her down. They didn't do anything. They just basically told her. And, like, her whole life has been a lie. That's hard.
Yeah, no, that was a bad.
That's rough.
Which
dude.
I mean, I can imagine that they had to just get it out right there because we were getting to that point in the story where they probably would have told her had she not come home and
Right.
been like, "This is what's happening." So they were like, "Well, sucks. This is bad timing. Let's do it."
But
Sorry,
it
you're
was
a princess.
awful.
No, I
And
agree though. That's bad for her.
So
Poor
the way
Aurora.
she handled it, she went in her room, she cried, but then you know what? She went along with it anyway. She did the sulky thing all the way to the castle, and then she went in the room. Honestly, she was quite handling herself. She could have ran away.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she kind of went along with it anyways. And even when they put her in the room in the castle, she just put her head down and cried. And they were like, well, let's just kind of leave her be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was handling it internally versus she didn't really take any action. You know, she just was,
Sure.
guess I have to go along with this type of thing.
I think she
Ariel-
handled it a little bit better, probably, and that's for what you just said.
Yes. So Ariel just was looking downstairs and saw Eric with some other girl, and then she also went upstairs and went on the bed and was like, meh, you know, and then she followed him all the way over to the boat and just watched the boat go away. So she
Well-
didn't do much either.
Well, it's kind of funny because I think of Ariel's whole story as being her heartbreak, even though it's not particularly.
Right.
I take her
Yeah.
as like King Trident comes and like, or Triton.
Blasts
like,
everything.
Trident.
Thank you.
Wait, Triton.
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 I'm calling him Trident. But you know what I mean.
Not the
Him,
gum, not the gum.
teeth
Yeah,
guy.
guy.
So he
Beard.
comes in, he like messes up her cove of
Yeah.
treasures.
She blows up his
And
statue.
because of that, she's like, whatevs, I'm going to go be a bad girl. And she goes and like
Yeah.
does her whole thing. So I feel like for her, hers is like a coming of age story where Aurora's like heartbreak is not so much coming of age. It's more like, wow, my life sucks.
Yeah, literally.
Gotta face the music.
It's like super sad.
She reserves herself to the fact
Just
that
I'll
like,
be sad queen for
yep,
the rest of my life.
Yep, just going to be sad, married, poor little lady.
Yeah.
But
Thinking of the one that got away on a horse. in the forest.
It was depressing when she did her little walk over there. I was like, oh my God, poor Aurora.
Agreed.
So who is the question who handled their heartbreak better?
I guess Aurora.
handled it better. Yeah.
Uh,
She still has her voice at the end of it, you know?
She didn't trade her soul for something.
Yeah.
It's weird because yes, Aurora handled it better, and she was like being mature about it and still went to the castle, and she was just crying. You know, she was like, well, this is my life. This is what I'm going to do. So I think she accepted it, but I don't know if she necessarily handled it better. I want to say Ariel handled it better because she like actually took action towards her heartbreak, but it was not a very smart thing to do. It was,
Well, and it's
it
funny
was stupid to do.
'cause I
but
agree with you.
I feel like at least she took action and did something. So I feel like she handled it in that way.
Well, question then: if Maleficent hadn't come into the room when she did, like, would she have like woken up and been like, "I'm gonna sneak out of this castle. I'm
Right.
gonna go back to the
Yeah,
bush.
we
I'm gonna
don't
go
know.
get him."
Was she not in an eternal sleep after that?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
she didn't
tried
have
to
the
find
time
him?
to like get down and get crazy.
Well,
See, I
at-
always think of handling it as like taking action
Yeah.
versus just like accepting. Even if you're taking action in the wrong way, Ariel, way to sell your voice to, you know, an evil witch. But I'm going to go with Ariel because she's my girl, you know.
Yeah.
That's my argument.
Because she's a girl. Yeah, I think, I don't know. Aurora, I think, handled it better. And even if she hadn't fallen asleep and, like, been heartbroken from then on, she would have found out that it was Prince Philip, like, the next day at the very latest anyway, and it would have been unbroken. So she would have had
Yeah.
her whole wallowing time would have just been like sat on the bed, sat under a cloak, sat for the night. Oh, hey, it's Philip. So I think, and like, whereas Ariel, you know, that statue gets busted, and if she never sells her voice, she never gets to see Prince Eric again. She's under the sea.
Yeah, so she handles it. She handles it. You know, she's like, I got to do this thing. That's why I think
So
Ariel.
she doesn't resolve herself to the fact that it is what it is.
She doesn't accept her fate. If you could change your fate, would ya?
I choose.
Apparently, she would.
I choose
Yes.
Aurora. Aurora did it better.
Whatever. Michelle's all mad. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Aurora.
You all suck.
Plain and
all about
simple.
Ariel.
She didn't go through a little hissy fit, and
It wasn't a hissy fit.
it was a big hissy fit.
It was a huge
the
hissy
fit.
hugest hissy fit ever.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. Let me run away from
She's like
home
a snake.
and, you know, like,
Fit.
snake?
Hissy
Hissy
fit.
fit.
Oh,
Hiss.
gotcha. Yeah,
A sea snake. Excuse me.
I'm gonna go with Aurora.
A sea snake
She,
would be an eel.
All she really did was just kind of like
Oh
what
my
you should
God,
do
you guys.
when life throws these things at you. You know, go have a good cry out of it, and you know, brush yourself up and
Yeah.
keep on.
No,
trucking
if
on.
you
keep
could
it
change
on.
your fate, would ya?
You know what's really funny about this is I feel like knowing Luis and Andre's personalities, I feel like this is going to be a really bad analogy.
Oh,
like
here we go.
if we broke up with you two, you guys would be like, all right, stay home, whatever. Then you would just go to work the next day. If me and Michelle got broken up with, we'd be like, oh no, we gotta go do some stuff.
Yeah.
Like we would be out
Maybe
there
it's a
getting
lady
it done.
thing. I don't
y'all,
know.
Yeah.
y'all be bothering us.
Yeah.
Oh, we would.
So Aurora, you know, she's gotten her man vibes on.
Yeah. Poor
Yeah, 'cause
Aurora. Gosh, poor Aurora.
poor
Aurora
life.
did it right.
Because she did it right.
She did it right. Yeah.
Well, that was an interesting battle, Lou. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
thanks for
Good
that.
battle. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, battle.
Do we have any Easter eggs in this movie, or is it too early for Easter eggs?
There is a hidden Mickey.
I hit a Mickey.
A hidden Mickey when I believe it's when Merryweather's making a cake. No, wait, it's not that. It's when the fairies discuss how to help the king and queen before they take Aurora away. Merryweather makes some cookies, and those cookies are in the shape of Mickey Mouse.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. There's some other interesting stuff, but it's not particularly Easter eggy like we know of Easter eggs. Kind of like a fun fact was Aurora was one of the last princesses to be created before Walt Disney's death. That's interesting. And another one, this was really interesting to me. The Rapunzel from Tangled and Princess Aurora from Sleeping Beauty are the only two princesses who have both parents alive in the picture
yes.
in the movie.
Very true.
I
I
thought that
never
was
thought about that.
interesting.
Yeah,
Even though that-
usually princesses' parents die.
Even
That's
though
like
that
a
queen
thing.
was not important because they literally referenced her like once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her little face was just sitting there.
Hey guys, you don't think that the owl in there is kind of like in Easter egg, either pre or post to Archimedes?
I think
We kind of said
Archimedes.
that, but I think it's like all those early Disney animals are literally modeled the same. I
Yeah.
think is what
it's
it
the
is.
same character model. So the squirrel and the
That's
owl
what Luis was
and-
like. I'm pretty sure this is
The
Sword in the
bunny
Stone.
and all of the
even the
animals-
horse, like all
Yes.
of those
Yes.
animals,
They just
like,
look
they
the same. They
draw
just
them
use
same,
the
basically.
same drawing.
So lazy animation.
It's not lazy, but yes, it's
If you okay, so I think it's because it took, especially back in the day when they didn't have computers, they didn't have any extra technology. They literally would take them weeks to do like 1 or 2 minutes worth of a movie, and this
Yeah.
was an hour and 50 minutes long. Like,
so if
Yeah.
I
they're
would
like,
lose my mind.
hey, why would I draw a whole new owl when we got this perfectly good one right here?
Exactly.
You know?
Well, and that's why if you go through, it's so funny. Even Disney through time, if you really look at Samson the horse, he very much
Yeah.
looks like Pegasus.
He's Pegasus.
Very much looks like
the horse
even
is from
Maximus.
Cinderella.
Like it's the horse has the same. And I wonder if that's because, like, through time they thought, well, we could recreate a new horse, or it could be like the Disney type of animal.
This horse is pretty fun.
Yeah,
you know
when
what I mean?
when-
Because they all have very
and
similar.
I totally think that. Like, I think of Bambi, and like, there's so many animals in that movie. But all animals like that, to me, I'm like, oh yeah, those are the Disney animals. Like, and they're just all alive in the same universes, in the same,
Little
Disney
woodland
animals.
creatures.
Yeah, woodland creatures.
Exactly. That bunny is
I
Thumper.
like Disney animals. They're cute. Thumpin'.
Thumper.
Oh,
Thumper.
Thumpin'.
I have like an animation fact.
Cool.
The pink versus blue battle originated because the animators truly couldn't decide which color to make the dress.
I love that.
They didn't know if they wanted it to be pink or blue, and they fought about it. So they were just like, let's just put that in
I
the
love
movie
that
and
too.
just
That's
And it's-
fantastic.
Over
and
and
it's
over and
so
over again.
funny because
Even at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was not
Yeah, yeah,
expecting that. And like right at the end, like you see them off dancing, and it still is
They're
changing.
like in the clouds
Yeah,
now. It's still
Which is-
changing to pink
Luis
and blue.
goes, "Did they die?"
right, they're still doing it. It's funny to me because although the dress is made pink, for the majority of the movie, I believe the dress is blue. She walks in, the dress is blue. She's dancing, the dress is blue. The dress is blue. And I was like, wow, I don't remember the dress being blue.
It's blue quite a bit.
For this long, because when you meet Aurora in the parks, she's wearing the pink dress.
Oh, yeah.
She's not wearing a blue dress. So I just always think of her as with the pink dress, but I would love to see her in the blue dress in the parks because I think the blue dress gets more screen time.
Isn't the blue dress more indicative of Cinderella?
Great. That's probably why they do that.
I think
Maybe.
so.
That's probably why her dress is pink in the parks. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Oh, just to
Because Cinderella is blue.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably.
Cinderella has a ball gown style dress versus this kind of dress,
Yeah.
but blue is
But
kind
But a
of
lot
a
of times they all have like their own color.
Like blue is
Right.
associated with Cinderella. Wow,
Yeah.
great
and Belle
job, Blue.
is yellow, and whoever it, you know,
Right,
they all have
yeah.
their
Even
own
though
color.
Belle has like a red dress too
Tiana
and
is
things
green.
like that. Yeah. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Did you have something?
Oh, I was just going to go back for a second because I thought I was going to say this and I thought I did, and I don't think I did. When we were talking about Maleficent, when she first came in to the party, right? And I know that we kind of said this a little bit, but so the christenings and like royal christenings, babies are born, things like that. Those were all in at least in the medieval culture, all very social events, and so it was interesting how. Little Merryweather, man, she a little spitfire,
She's
right?
firecracker.
So she's in here like, you weren't wanted, and she's like, not wanted, and you can tell like she obviously knew she wasn't wanted, but
Me?
right,
The one with the horns?
the one with the scary staff and things, but. And they did this in the Maleficent movie as well, but for her, it was she would have been extremely like offended,
Right.
And that would have made them her enemies, as if she wasn't already probably their enemy for whatever
You
reason.
know what? I'm going to go over there. I'm going to kill that baby.
Right? So
Forget them.
at least in the culture, it was very, very, very offensive for her not to have, not even so much not gotten an invite, but being like taken out of the
Ostracized.
event. So that's something interesting too, because that's just culture wise. They would have expected everyone to come, and the
Right.
fact that she was not only not invited, but like not even told about it. That whole baby was just like immediately
Right.
What do you
Offensive.
It's so funny, and this is probably the worst references of all time. But Andre and I watched the Lego Batman movie probably like a month ago.
Yes, go on.
And it reminded me. So she's like, Maleficent walks into the party, and she's like, I wasn't invited. You know, she's like so upset. But then the Lego Batman has to go to Superman's cave,
Has to go to the
and
Fortress
they're
of
like
Solitude.
having a party, and he's
Having
like,
a Justice League party.
and he's like, what? Because he wasn't invited. So
What an awkward
Maleficent,
situation.
Batman, you know, same thing.
Yeah, that is actually that's a very good comparison because I remember that part in that movie. Because if you guys didn't know, Andre and Michelle may or may not have made me and Louise go to Lego Batman
And you guys had a great time.
in
You
the
loved
theaters.
it. You guys
Because
loved it.
amazing movie.
You wanted
Batman's
to
the best.
go.
But it was quite hilarious
I love
because
that
it's the
movie.
exact same thing.
Yes.
Oh, well, this is awkward. Everyone's having a good time, and I
Oh.
was not invited.
I love
then.
Lego
I guess
Batman.
I'll just use all my skills to kill you all.
I will
Pretty much.
I will say too, if we're just thinking about Maleficent in the parks
Yes.
wise, you know, so our castle is obviously Sleeping Beauty Castle
Yes.
at Disneyland. So you can walk through the castle and you see everything, which I actually like to do. It's pretty cool.
Like the
I-
storyline
yes,
if
like
you
the
walk through the
story and
castle.
everything. That's really cool. And then we see Maleficent obviously at the end of Fantasmic. So I think it's weird to me that I haven't really sat through Sleeping Beauty, but I know so much about Maleficent just from like Disneyland perspective. Like Maleficent's so cool, she turns into a dragon and things like that. And I get that's probably why she's represented a lot in the parks and even at Disney World in the parade and stuff.
I think she's just very popular in general. She's
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
the most popular villains. Like there was that, like what was that, like House of Mouse Club show.
Mickey Mouse,
on-
House of Klaus.
That's one.
I said House of Klaus.
House of Klaus
House of Klaus.
on the
Yeah, she
Disney
was on
Channel,
that.
and she was on that show. And she's also like one of the main villains in like the Kingdom Hearts games that I love so much.
Well, yeah, because when Philip stabbed her with the sword, you were like, it wasn't that easy in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, that
like,
fight
oh,
is way
fine.
longer. She's got like 30 health bars or whatever.
My goodness.
He stabbed her in one hit.
Okay, so I'm gonna be like, I feel like I'm gonna get some like rage right now, but not from you two and Louise, but maybe otherwise. But okay, I'm just gonna say it. I've always known that Disneyland's castle was Sleeping Beauty's castle because that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But I don't think it looks like Castle in Sleeping Beauty.
No, it
in the
doesn't.
I
movie.
agree.
I can't even remember
Because
it
I'm going
from
to tell
this
you,
movie.
I have the Sleeping Beauty castle tattooed on my body. Not the one in Disneyland,
But
the
the
one
one
in
in
the
this
movie.
movie.
I'm going to tell you right now, they don't look alike.
I need to see a side by side to make this.
I'm not
statement.
upset about it. It's just I'm pointing it out because when I was watching the movie, I was waiting for some pink and some blue. And they ain't no pink, ain't no blue.
Huh.
Maybe that's why. Maybe they changed the castle into pink and blue because do we want to make it pink or blue? Make it blue. So they just made it both.
Maybe.
Okay.
The castle's white.
It's interesting because
It has
okay.
turrets and colors.
When you type in Sleeping Beauty Castle into Google,
It's all gonna be
it straight up just
Disneyland,
shows
yeah.
Disneyland. Like I'm not seeing anything from the movie
You have to type
specifically.
movie.
Guys, just hold on for some quick googling here.
Andre's using Google Eyes.
Oh yeah, they
Google
do not
eyes.
look the same.
Okay.
Well, the structure, like the, they kind of do, but
Because Sleeping Beauty's castle, when you look at it, and I know that obviously construction-wise they have to be able to do what they can do in the space, and that it's smaller than a lot of the other ones because Walt wanted it to feel like a friendly castle. I get
Sure.
all of that. But when you look at Disneyland's Sleeping Beauty castle, it is much wider.
Yes.
It is a
Yeah.
wide, spread-out castle in comparison to Sleeping Beauty's castle in the movie, which is like super tall.
it's very
and
tall and kind of bunched up.
Yeah.
But I think that might have more to do with like the animation style
Man.
of the movie.
Right.
But yeah,
But then they could have just called it the Disneyland Castle.
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
It didn't have to be
have
Sleeping Beauty's castle.
well,
but
now they have the theme. You know, every park is a different castle, but the movie castle, like from the intro now, is like the Disneyland
Yes.
castle. You know,
Yes.
it's like it's the Disneyland castle. To me, like it looks like
Yeah.
the Disneyland castle. This also might be Andre and I bought a puzzle, like a Thomas Kincaid puzzle, and it's the Sleeping Beauty castle. And it looks like the one from the movie, which is probably why we're having such a hard time putting
Taking
it
us
together.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
hard. It's all bunched together and tall. It's very, very hard.
I'm gonna tell you, Disney puzzles are no joke.
We kind of let it fall off the. It's just sitting on our kitchen table. We don't eat dinner there no more because we don't want to take it apart, but we're not done.
Yep.
So it's like
Family dinners are no more
Yeah,
at
no.
the Hearst Morton house.
nope.
Couch dinners.
Couch dinners.
Not couch dinners. Are we ready? How much did this make?
Did you know that have you ever been called the Hearst Morton household before?
No.
The Morton Hearst?
We got a
No.
piece of mail on it that said the Morton family. I was like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, we
That's
did.
us.
I was
Wow.
like,
Moving on
what?
up in the world.
Doing it.
Michelle. You could be Michelle Morton.
I know, which sounds cool because it's like Eminem.
Andre, just
Oh,
wait till you
God.
get that piece of mail from Gerber or Infamil
Gerber.
describing that your route to pregnancy is going to be a very magical route.
Oh my god, y'all
Luis
jumping
got
ahead.
Magical route?
Luis got a piece
Journey,
of mail
whatever, same
when
thing.
I was pregnant, and it said, "Luis, your journey through motherhood will be magical."
That is hilarious. I love that.
And it was.
And it was. Poor Andre's over here like, first I'm getting married, now I'm having a baby. What happened?
Baby. Did you ask how much this movie made?
Yeah, what's the money?
Money.
This movie was actually fairly expensive for them to make. It cost $6 million
Oh.
in 1959.
I will say, though, that the animation in this one was
It's
one of my favorites.
beautiful.
I loved the way the trees were done. Like,
Yes.
they were in their square style.
All of the
and
background animation.
so freaking
Absolutely
cool.
beautiful.
And
Those-
super colorful.
Those are all done by a dude named Avend Earl, and he worked on Peter Pan for a little bit, but then he got like promoted to be like top animator dude, and so he
Top animator
top
dude.
animated dude, and so he was doing backgrounds on this movie, and he felt very free and open to just do whatever he wants. So he did it very stylistically, and that's why you see those square trees and the very angular branches and stuff.
Well, and
in the
that's why-
background.
Those pretty
Because-
watercolor colors.
Well, and that my tattoo that I'm talking about is done in that style,
Ah.
and that's why I like it so much. I was like, ooh, it's just very indicative of that type of movie because a lot of the other Disney ones, especially like Hercules we were talking about last week, is so circular.
Swirly,
You
yeah.
know, it's very opposite, and I like it.
And it's interesting because like as he was he left Disney before this movie actually came out because he was like fighting with like the supervising animator who was like, what are you doing with all this, man? You're focusing too much on all these backgrounds. We need to be working on this movie. Nobody's gonna be looking at these square trees, but I was.
FYI, we're all looking at
I
those
was
square
looking at the
trees.
square
Like,
trees.
it's
you
beautiful.
go, man.
You go,
Yeah.
Mr. Earl.
Earl, he did good.
This movie, so it cost $6 million because they had to do a fair amount of those animations over and over again, especially that Once Upon a Dream song. They did that like 4 times. So it cost a lot of money. But this movie ended up making... I just had it. Where did it go, money? Ended up making $2,548,000.
Oh, so they lost a
Oh,
bunch.
in its opening weekend. Excuse
Oh,
me.
well, I was like, dang.
It's
You should see my eyes right now. What?
its total gross in the U.S. was $51 million.
Oh, okay, that's much better.
Thank the Lord. I was
I
a
was
little
like, how
worried.
did this movie only make $2 million?
I was confused myself at first because I read the wrong number, and I was like, $6 million, $2 million. That's not good.
Wow. So let's say Sleeping Beauty is probably what gave Disney that war chest to go into the entertainment business because that's a huge.
That's
I mean, probably,
turnaround.
yeah. It was
that's
That's
insane.
Quite a big
$48
turnaround.
million.
Especially in 1959.
Wow.
I wonder if...
No wonder they were able to buy everything within the last couple of years.
Why do you think Disney owns the world? Sleeping Beauty. Boom.
I'm wondering if that is its total over the course of its
Life.
like if it's been like re-released and stuff like that, or if that's just from the original release. Actually, okay, so I'm looking on Box Office Mojo now, and it says the domestic total gross was $36 million, but its
And the
domestic
lifetime.
lifetime gross is $51 million.
But still, that's
$36 million
36 is a
for
lot.
a $6 million movie is quite a sizable comeuppance.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Boy, yes, a comeuppance.
That's a lot. And what does it have on Rotten Tomatoes?
On Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has... Oh, I don't have the Rotten Tomatoes score. Excuse me one moment.
Do, 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 do,
Yes, keep-
Andre's Googling today.
I'm doing a lot of Googling. Goodness gracious. I apologize.
It's a
everyone.
Rotten Tomato.
Thought I was
It's not a
prepared.
rotten movie. It's got to be fresh.
This
Certified
movie
fresh.
is certified fresh with a... Oh, come on, Paige. You can load. 90% on the tomato.
90%.
90%. That's very high. It has an 80% audience score
Pretty good.
and a 7.8 on IMDb.
Will you do me a
7.3.
favor and see what the live-action Maleficent got on Rotten Tomatoes? Because I wonder if it is similar. Like, as I
say
think that
not.
people
doubt
that
that
liked
it's similar.
Sleeping Beauty would have been like, I'm going to go see Maleficent.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Because I liked that movie.
2014's Maleficent has a
Oh.
50% on the tomato meter.
That's bad. Never mind.
Yeah, it's
Not
it's not the
fresh.
same kind of movie. It's it's its own thing.
It's so funny because I feel like there is and I don't mean like a certain kind of person, like you have to have a certain kind of personality, but I mean that I think that there is like an age group that digs this whole origin backstory type thing.
Yeah.
And doesn't really, I'm not saying doesn't care that if the movie's good or not, but is invested in the character enough
Right.
to care about the backstory.
Yeah.
Like when Wicked came out, like on Broadway, people were like, I think that really, really spawned the whole idea of like
Yeah, people lost their minds.
evil people backstory, right?
Right.
But you want to know that there's some kind of motivating factor behind these evil people. And so I think that people were really into the idea of Maleficent, but maybe it just didn't hit all the
Right.
points that it
Yeah.
should
That it
have.
should have hit.
Even though I'm going to say Angelina Jolie be looking all kinds of like Maleficent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they did a really good job with
I
their
loved
casting
Maleficent
of that movie.
when I saw it.
I think they were planning on doing a sequel at one point, but
Yeah, I don't know if they still are. I'm okay off sequels for a while.
Animals.
Yeah.
Like sequels and prequels kind of need to die lately. I'm okay with just originals. All right, you ready to rate this, Andre?
yes.
What you gonna give it?
I'm going to give
What
this
you gon' give it, she says.
Gliding down the bayou.
I'm going to give this movie a 7.5.
Okay.
I very much liked the music and the animation and the voice acting and all of the fun stuff that the fairies do. But I did have my qualms, and I didn't enjoy the plot as much as I did when I was a child. So it does not get a
Okay.
higher score.
Okay.
I don't remember watching this movie as a child very much, other than bits and pieces. And I did have a lot of qualms with the fairies, but the music is beautiful. I actually thoroughly enjoyed the movie when I watched it. I would definitely watch it again. I have a better viewpoint on Sleeping Beauty than I did before I rewatched it as an adult. I'm like, oh, so that was a good movie. Like it was cool. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Cool.
8.5.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. We're just
Oh, we're going up.
We're moving on up. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. Like if Luis was like, "Hey, you want to watch Sleeping Beauty?" I'd be like, "Yeah, let's do it." I think that it moved along quickly enough that there were no boring points for me,
Sure.
and I enjoyed the characters. There was nobody that like bugged me or there was too much of anything. I think that there was a good mix of fun and like super scary.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. 8.5 from moi.
Luis.
Luis.
I'll also give it an 8.5. It moved
Uh-huh.
very quickly. It didn't annoy me. She didn't have necessarily like a she was naive, in my opinion. And I appreciate that because sometimes I can't put up with naiveness and dumbness. Except for the
Naiveness.
fairies, though. But either way, I'm going to stick to my score.
Right.
Well, you know what's funny about this is that I've seen Aurora in the parks many, many times, and I have never once even thought about stopping to take a picture with her.
Yeah,
Ever.
me
Like
either.
not even it didn't even like pop in my
Right,
head to
doesn't
just walk right
register.
past her. And now I'm kind of like, ooh, I'm gonna be like, hey, Bri Rose, how
Literally,
you doing,
like
girl?
the only
Rose.
princesses I ever think about taking a picture with are just if you subtract Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, and Cinderella. Like all the other ones, I would probably stop to take pictures with. That's so sad. I need to get on board with them more.
Oh,
you
see,
know?
now I'm on the Aurora train. I would totally.
I would now. Yeah.
Well, and you know what's really funny is that we're watching the movie, right? And I'm like, dude, we're gonna dress up Addie, our baby, as Maleficent for Halloween.
Oh my God.
Like,
Man, you keep changing
right?
your Halloween.
I know. I was
picture.
like, she's gonna be Maleficent, and Louis goes, "Oh yeah," and he's thinking in his head that we would be like Aurora and Prince Philip, and I'm like, "No, we're gonna be the fairies," and he's like, "I want to be a fairy." I'm like, "No, we're gonna be the fairies."
Pink.
Blue.
nah,
I think it'd be funny.
That
don't
would
be
be-
a fairy.
No.
Why not? That would be super fun.
Nays before bays.
We could all be.
You could be the horse.
We could all be
We could
Disney
all be
horses. We'll
horses.
all be Disney,
Disney
horses.
bound as Disney horses. That'd be fun.
I'm about it.
I
Done.
call Pegasus
I don't even care.
because I want. Wait.
Maximus, duh. I take it back. I do care.
Can I be the dog from The Little Mermaid? It's Eric's horse.
Max,
it's
the
not a
super
horse.
hairy
no,
dog.
not
It's
a
not a
horse.
It's
Can I be a
close enough.
carrot?
No.
You sure?
You don't want to be
3
Olaf's
horses,
nose.
3 horses.
You want to
and
be
a carrot?
Olaf's nose?
No, a carrot had a life before Olaf.
Oh.
Oh, just got
Carrot
deep.
had a life before he was forced to be the nose of this snowman.
Also, speaking of dogs, next week, I can't believe it's already the end of May. That month went by fast, but
Kind of makes me want to cry. Actually,
it
go
went
ahead.
by really fast, right?
Technically speaking, it's not the end of May because we still go another half a week. But
Only
Still.
Luis would know that because he is counting down the days until summer as a teacher. You
Oh,
can imagine.
I'm sure.
So whatever, dude.
Teacher.
He's a.
School's out. Oh,
That's an
Luis.
excited hiss.
Yes. So, speaking of dogs, you're voting for dog movies next week. It's going to be so fun. So, our options
You're
are...
voting for dog movies.
All of these movies have dogs in them. You just have to tell us which dog movie you want us to watch. So we have Lady and the Tramp, Fox and the Hound,
Emily and Luis, and
101 Dalmatians.
101 Addies.
Emily and Luis and a bunch of addies.
Yes. So Lady and the Tramp, Fox
Emily
and the
and
Hound,
Luis.
101 Dalmatians. So do you want us to have a romance? Do you want us to cry? Or do you want us to laugh? That is your choices.
Don't pick Fox and the Hound.
Yeah,
Stop!
I
No,
don't
you
want
don't
to
get to tell
cry.
them what to pick.
Yes, we do.
Don't.
I love the Fox and the
I'm just
Hound.
going to say I did not want to put this one
Lady
in
and
there.
the Tramp. Lady and the Tramp.
Emily and
I
Luis.
could do without Lady and the Tramp.
101
not-
Dalmatians.
I don't want to cry. If I have to watch that movie, I'm going to be real mad.
Especially now that you're mom.
Oh my God. You can't leave the dog behind in the Fox.
But yes, we're excited about your voting next week.
I'm
Yay!
already crying. We haven't even started.
Oh my God. Well, Emily has announcements too.
Oh, yes, I do have announcements.
No crying.
No crying. Announcement time. We have our upcoming events and our giveaways happening. So y'all know that we're going bowling on Friday, June 1st.
Woo!
We are meeting up at 6:30 at Yosemite Lanes in Modesto. And then we are going to bowl from 7 to 8. We have a free hour of bowling on us with that has shoe rental. So come hang out with us. We're going to have some fun. Boom. That
It's
was
gonna be
fast.
fun.
Woo!
Bowling.
Next week, actually starting when this episode drops, we will be starting our first ever loop giveaway with our
Yay!
fun friends, the Ear Emporium, Nerdloveshop, the Oddmouseshoppe, and That's So Brittany. So the really cool thing here is that you're going to get an opportunity to get into this giveaway by following all of the counts, liking the pictures that you see in the loop, and then you have an opportunity to get a Pixar-themed item from each of those shops. So the Ear Emporium is giving us, I'll have to show you guys. You guys are going to die. A Buzz Lightyear themed pair of ears that are super cute. The Nerd Love Shop is giving us an up themed t-shirt that is going to be shipped straight to you based on whatever your size is if you're the winner. The Odd Mouse Shop sent 2 super cute pins that she handcrafts herself. One is a pair of Mickey ears and the other is a bow.
Cute.
And then That's So Brittany, she sent us a reusable shopping bag that has Toy Story prints on it.
Yay! I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for
I want
whoever
them
wins.
all myself.
I know.
Right.
And the cool thing is that we, as the Walt Vault, will put in a little extra fun too. But whoever the grand prize winner is will get all of those fun things. And so our giveaway will start on Monday of this week when the episode drops until Friday.
So today, it's live.
yeah, today.
Go for it.
Today. Woo woo.
So you'll have a week to enter, and we can't wait to announce the winner.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So, if you want to enter our giveaway, if you want to vote on our movie vote for the end of the month, go over to at the Walt Vault Pod on Instagram. We are there. That's where all the action is happening. Follow us, share, do all that good stuff to get in on these goodies that we got for you. You can also follow us on Twitter or Facebook. We are at the Walt Vault Pod. If you want to send us a message, you could DM us on any of those social media platforms, or you can
Don't slide in like Prince Philip.
Yes, please don't do that. Or you can send an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com, and we'll read your message on the show. If you want to help support the Walt Vault, you can do that by subscribing. First of all, that would be great. Subscribe on Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, any of those places. Leave us a review. That really helps. Or you can go to thewaltvaultpod.com/Amazon and shop on Amazon as you normally would, and a portion of your purchase will come to us directly, just for us directing you there, and not charge you anymore. Or you can become a patron on patreon.com/thewaltvault, where if you sign up for as little as $1 or more, you can get access to our after show, A Crack in the Vault, where we talk about some extra stuff about these Disney movies. So that's it. You guys, we'll see you next time. We love you. And the vault is now closed.